there was a connection, especially when they were wrestling with each other
Yeah.
at the very end of the
Mhm.
season.
They
I
just
mean
kept wrestling with each other
when he got a boner.
and then
I mean,
apologized.
Raul, you've never apologized, or I never have to apologize when we wrestle, and that happens, to us.
No apology needed.
No apology needed.
It's a surprise whenever it doesn't happen.
I'm surprised he didn't realize.
I'm sorry, Sylvia.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about the 2023 surprise hit show, Blue Eye Samurai, a show that at this point has been Emmy nominated because it was so damn good. And as always, I have here with me Raul
Howdy, howdy.
and the wonderful Sylvia.
Hello.
Sylvia, just like always, this was your first time seeing the show, and hopefully you've seen Kill Bill, because I can't wait for you to tell me all the Kill Bill references that go along with the show, because there's a ton of them. All she was missing was that yellow tracksuit, and it would have been just Kill
Oh
Bill
man,
part.
yeah.
And to be buried and then one punch out of it.
One punch out
Yeah,
of it.
come back to life.
Or 1 inch punch out of it, yeah.
We needed that one scene where she starts moving her toe and then slowly the rest of her body.
Funny enough, I saw the final season of Umbrella Academy, and that actually did happen in that show.
I know.
Oh wow.
The guy was
I
trying
did
to
finish watching that.
the guy did try getting up by doing the one punch. So that was kind of funny that you say that. But
Klaus.
I'm actually going to talk about that show as part of what I've been watching. But before I talk about Umbrella Academy, Sylvia, catch us up, man. Game of Thrones, where you at?
I don't know where this week got away from me. I haven't watched anything. Just yesterday I finished up Blue Eye Samurai. I don't know. I know Saturday I had the event over with Cider Days, which is kind of around the Michigan area. But then I genuinely, I did not have the time or the thought. I did play a lot of Pal World, though, I will say. So
What? What made you go back? What made you go back to that?
Oh, I always go back to Pal World.
Oh, nice.
I'm always playing it, yeah, but I don't know where the time went for me. Yesterday I was sitting at home and I was thinking I'm missing something, and then I realized I never finished Blue Eye Samurai. I don't know where it went.
Oh, damn. That's crazy. Yeah. For me, it went so fast and so quick that, it was like not a struggle at all for my second rewatch, but yeah. So then, how was the cider? Was it good?
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. So Cider Days has a bunch of Michigan beers, and I think we might have some other beers there, but it's mostly Michigan beers and ciders, and then meat as well. So you kind of go around and you have however many tickets, kind of, and then you get little samples. But the samples themselves are huge. They're like pretty decent sized cups. They're like 4-ounce, I think, cups. You go around and you have about 9 samples that you can have. Which is a lot throughout the day. 9 samples, yeah.
That's nice.
And like the people there, they don't give you like little itty bitty pours. They pour it to the brim, like you're spilling out of it as you're taking it away from the vendors. But they're all very, very good. So
you're making me thirsty right now for some cider.
Yeah, so. I mean, there were definitely some good ones where I believe I bought one of them that was over in the store in the back afterwards because it was so good. It was like a watermelon jalapeno flavor. Yeah. So it was a little bit spicy, and it was a beer. So.
Ooh, I love mango. Yeah. I saw a documentary. Wait, what?
She said watermelon jalapeno.
Oh, I thought you said mango jalapeno. I'm like, man, I love me some mango.
I told him before the podcast too. Just everything I say or roll is just swoosh.
No, I was gonna say, Zac Efron had a documentary series on Netflix where he traveled like the different parts of the world. I don't know if you ever saw the one where he went to a cidery in New York, upstate New York, but they talked about like how cidery was like the way to drink beer back in the day, especially in Europe. But then when we became, like we said, F you to the, we just kind of like broke off. We purposely were like, we're not going to drink cider because we didn't want to be kind of like our counterparts. So it was kind of interesting to like find that out. That cidery has always been like the way to drink beer, especially in Europe, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of the Polish beers too, I feel like ours are mostly like raspberry flavored almost.
But no
or
mango?
Just have some type of no mango. No mango. No watermelon either, but
nice.
Just so genuine. Yeah, I love mango too.
It's just, you know what? Anytime that I feel like I've had like a cider that's like random, it's always like jalapeno mango, and yeah, so it's
Mhm.
just yeah, that
Oh,
can.
you know what? They had a jalapeno wine, like mead wine there, and it was actually delicious. It smelled
Mm.
spicy, but the flavoring of it was actually very sweet. It was
Oh,
the
Mm.
oddest flavoring, but it was so good.
no, that's awesome. I mean, Raul, me and you, I don't know what we're doing with our lives, but we're not drinking as much as we should. At least, especially because I know there's some around here where we could go in.
And then we missed you at Cooper's Hawk, Carlos.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
you guys might at this point have that membership then.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
And possibly a drinking problem.
Yeah. Well, that comes normally with it, with the membership, the drinking problem.
that just comes with life at this point.
Oh,
Around
okay.
our age, it's just part of life.
We're millennials.
Yeah.
Actually, are you a millennial?
I
don't-
believe I am. Yeah, I
We
think
talked-
I was.
Okay.
I think we talked about this. I
talked
think
about
I'm the
this, I
last
think-
year. I think
Yeah.
yeah, the last year that's being considered as a millennial.
Yeah,
Okay.
the conversation
I
literally
forget
went
this.
like I was born in '96.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you born in '96?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
You know.
That's the age of your sister, right?
Yeah.
no,
my
she was
sis-
born
no,
in
my sis-
'97.
no,
So,
my
so,
sis-
so you're one.
Older. Yeah.
it's
Yeah, my sister was born in '97. So you're 1 year older than her.
You know, guys, when you record with Ro, it's always like 50 first dates. You know, he's always just
Yes,
he's always
You
never
feel
gonna
like to ask
remember.
me any other questions? Any concerns?
but I will remember the randomest things though, and I'm awesome at trivia,
Mhm.
except
Every-
not of people that I know.
Every once in a while, there's a little bit of lore that comes out, and then both of you guys just act shocked, and then you re-ask me again next week.
Yep. That sounds right.
But Ro, what have you been doing, man? What have you been chilling Netflix and chilling with?
So I know you mentioned Umbrella Academy. I don't remember if I finished it before last week's episode or not, but I finished it now. I liked it. I a lot of people talk smack about it, but I liked it. I love the concept of the show, so I'm super into it.
What do you think? Because I finished it too, and I was expecting it to be like really like a bad ending, and I see why people are complaining, but like it wasn't like a bad ending.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it went well. You know.
I think it was a very a very finished ending, which is better than like it kind of ending like ambiguously somehow sometimes.
Yeah,
So-
like and you never know. Maybe in 5 years he comes back for like maybe another.
I doubt
season.
A reboot maybe, or like with a different cast, but I don't think they'll get this cast again.
I mean, I honestly, Sylvia, like I wouldn't tell you like you got to go back and watch Umbrella Academy, but I think it's a good binge because that show definitely does. It's meant to be a superhero show, and honestly, it does a lot of what Disney has been trying to do on their Disney service with like bringing the comedy, bringing the action. I think Umbrella Academy, even though some of the story plots, especially the third season, kind of fall flat, like the first and second season are so freaking good. And even the most random stuff that happens in the third and fourth, like, are really good compared again to like some of the stuff that you see on other stuff like Disney Plus. So I really do recommend Umbrella Academy if you're just trying to like watch something because it's random as hell and it's really cool. It's like a really I'm
Yeah.
gonna be sad that it's gone actually.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and honestly, it's a great cast
Mhm.
too. And then and the powers are pretty cool too. Except in the last season, they didn't use a lot of them as often,
Yeah.
which
You-
which
you know
I
what's-
wasn't a fan of.
Do you get more into it? Because I tried watching the first episode, and I think I got like 10 minutes in, and I couldn't even remember what was going. I couldn't get into it.
I think it gets better
Yeah.
because it starts very dark. I remember it's like the dad
Oh yeah,
the dad passes away and they're all coming together, and I think the more you watch it, it'll get a little bit more sippy
Oh,
and
yeah.
funny. Especially with number five. Number five was always like throughout the whole every season, he was always consistently like the best part of it.
dude, he was so good considering that he's a kid and acting as an old dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only part that kind of surprised me, him and the other girl hooking up. But you know, again, if you spend 8 years in this one secluded
7
place,
years.
7 years secluded place, like
Yeah, in the subway. Yeah.
But other than that, anything else, Ro, that you've been?
Yeah. So I actually
Oh,
started
shit.
watching a new anime.
Okay.
And Eminence in Shadow, and I'm in the second season of that, and I like it. it reminds me a lot of Overlord in some ways, like the main character.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a little bit different. So it's an isekai. This dude uh gets run over by a truck, and then comes back to life uh, as a baby, and then he grows up and he's like fake. His whole thing is that he's pretending to be like an NPC. So he keeps saying NPC all the time and side character and blah blah. So he's trying to not be noticed, but then he has this other like persona that he's super powerful and other stuff. And he kind of wants to rule the world or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. But then he ends up like saving these people that are cursed, and then he kind of turns them into like he pretty much forms a cult of these people that are cursed. They're all deformed, but then he like with his magic saves them, and they're turned back into like regular elves or whatever because there's magic in this world. And then he forms a cult of all these women that end up kind of fighting crime and doing stuff that he kind of taught them, like to play the piano and
Dude,
stuff. So
dude, that sounds terrible, man. Like, terrible.
it's interesting. It's interesting. It's something you just gotta try because I definitely know that it's not gonna be for everyone, but
No.
it's try it and then you can let me know what you think.
It will not be. Sorry, I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not a fan of
But
the
I liked it.
isekai
I like
stuff, especially because there's so many of them, and it's just like they all like. I'm glad. I honestly did enjoy your description, but they all to me sound like one giant blob of
Okay.
like.
I will say I do like Overlord better, and I do like Jobless Reincarnation better, and this is kind of like a mesh between the two.
Okay. Well, you one of those days you're gonna have to like push me to watch one of them, for sure.
Well, then watch Jobless Reincarnation.
Jobless reincarnation.
Yeah, it has a Japanese name but I'd never say the Japanese name.
Oh, okay.
But Jobless Reincarnation. It's at Crunchyroll.
But again, I've said it before, but Digimon's my favorite isekai.
Digimon?
Digimon, yeah,
Oh.
because they get sent into another. It technically fits the criteria of what it's supposed to be.
Oh.
They get
I
sent
guess.
to a digital world where they
Oh,
get
that's a blast from the past.
I love Digimon. In
Mm-hmm.
in another reality, Digimon would be superior to Pokemon, but hey,
Oh, wow. Wow.
Dude, there's so much about Digimon I don't remember because Pokemon totally like it used up all the memory space that Digimon had.
I mean, Digimon went hard all the way up to the third season, and they just dropped the ball after that. But yeah, third season.
I feel like it was Yu-Gi-Oh versus Pokemon for a while. Not Digimon.
Later on.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say shut your mouth, but I'm not talking to Ro. I'm talking to you. So scratch that.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
How dare you say that?
I mean, wasn't it Yu-Gi-Oh versus Pokemon for a bit?
I mean, for the card game, I could see.
Yeah, the
it,
card game.
But the cartoon.
When I was in high
No.
school.
No, Pokemon was
I think I watched more of the cartoon than like anybody else. Probably gave up a lot sooner. I kept watching it to like almost to the
Pokemon or
end.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh, both. Well, both, but yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh. No, Pokemon went on for like 20 more years. Yu-Gi-Oh definitely I kept watching for a while.
Yeah, I feel like I watched maybe like the first 2 seasons up until like May with Pokemon, and then maybe a little bit of Dawn, but not really.
Yeah.
But then Yu-Gi-Oh, I think I watched
Are those
much,
people?
much. Yeah, in Pokemon, the
Okay.
girls. You had Misty was the first one, and then I think the second one was May, right?
There was the
I
one
only saw through one girl apparently.
May had
Misty.
the bird, I believe. The bird Pokemon, the fire one maybe? The one
Moltres?
Yeah,
that's chicken, the
yeah,
one that looks like a chicken.
Blaziken.
Yeah.
Blaziken.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, I only know Gen 1 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Plus
so
Mew.
I think I think I only watched those 3, but then Yu-Gi-Oh, I think it was a lot more consistent.
Well,
The show was better, I would argue.
for my list, I mean, since we already talked about like
Umbrella
Umbrella
Academy.
Academy. The only other one that I wanted to mention, and I kind of texted you guys on Friday, but I saw Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
But I haven't been to the movies in a while.
Yeah, dude, but I mean that movie, like definitely, I enjoyed it. Like I really think it was worth seeing it in the movie theater. Definitely would pay again to see it again because I enjoyed it that
Mm.
much. But it was like a combination of like aliens and a little bit of Prometheus with the original aliens. It was like mixing all of them into like the best movie it could be. So it was really good, man.
Where does this lie in the timeline?
It's actually right after Alien, the original. So it's before Aliens, and
Oh,
it's
Mhm.
after Alien. And they do mention Prometheus, which I love Prometheus. So like I was really happy when they made
yeah.
that mention of Prometheus.
Well, when Prometheus came out, I didn't even know that it was a alien
Oh
prequel.
yeah, I like those
Yeah, until
movies.
the end that that they did the big thing. I was like, is this an alien thing?
That's funny.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, dude, there was this one jump scare at the end of the movie, and that's when I texted. Like that's why I texted. I
Thanks
think
for spoiling us.
I think well, I think my review of the movie was like Alien Romulus. I almost shit myself because
Yeah.
Yeah.
that jump scare at the end of the movie towards the end, it was just like so in my face, and it was so shocking. And if I'm surprised nobody has gotten into like a cardiac arrest from like watching that scene because it was just it was really unexpected. But I really enjoyed that movie, and I'm hoping maybe once it's streaming on Hulu, which I do believe strongly once you guys watch it on Hulu, you're not gonna get as much of an impact as watching it in the movie theater, but it's okay. But I
Yeah.
do think once it goes on Hulu, you guys should definitely watch it
I'll watch it.
Mm.
How do you know
Yeah.
it's gonna go on Hulu?
because it's a Fox movie,
Oh,
like
got
Prey.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll go on Hulu then.
for sure, for sure. But it's making money, so that makes me happy because there's definitely gonna be more Alien stuff, and I love Alien.
At some point, we should do like the
Oh,
aliens
oh,
Mhm.
series.
we will do an Alien Romulus versus Prey for sure in the future.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
an Alien versus Predator episode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I choose the Predators.
Well, the Prey movie is really good. So I really want to talk about that one and Alien Romulus together. Sylvia, I'll go to you first because you
Or
haven't.
Carlos, why don't we start with you? You always have us go first.
Well, it's always fun because you haven't seen this. I always like I'm always hoping that you're gonna tell me you enjoyed it and you loved it because if you tell me you hated it, then it's always gonna be put me in the wrong mood.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. I will say that when I watched the first episode, I wasn't expecting what I got. So I'm
Hence
glad
your
that I
text.
yeah, I'm glad that I didn't have it on like the full screen TV with everyone around in the family because I I was very close to putting it on downstairs with like all the family kind of walking around, family and friends, and I'm very glad I didn't because that first episode already there was a lot of nudity in the first like few minutes, and I was
Yeah.
not expecting it whatsoever. It was a lot different than what I expected.
Let me ask you something. Did you right off the bat knew she was a girl? Or was that a surprise to you by the end of the episode?
I the moment I started watching it, and I was watching with Mitchell too, the moment I started watching it, I immediately asked him, "Is this a girl or a boy?" And then he kept saying like, "No, it's a dude." Like they keep saying
See?
he, and I kept saying, "I don't think so. I
Yeah.
don't think so." The whole time I kept saying, "I don't think so." I do think they did a good job though, especially in like the kid years of making it seem like it was a boy. But I think they did a better job of it than they do in other shows, I would say. Because, like, with Mulan, you could kind of immediately distinguish, hey, that's a girl. But with this one, it was a little bit back and forth for me within the first episode and the second episode. I was pretty sure in my thought at that point.
No, I remember being like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like I called it like right away. I'm like that's a girl, and like at the end of the episode when they revealed it, I'm like no shock whatsoever because I'm like I just like I saw
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. It just felt to me like the story would have been more impactful if that was kind of like the thing to it, and it was. So that really did kind of like again it like I don't know if it's like because like it's me already having that expectation right at the beginning. I don't know if that made me feel differently by the end of the show. So I'm kind of glad that for you, you weren't really sure. So maybe by the end of the show, you were like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" Or
Yeah, I did kind of notice, like I said, from that first episode, it wasn't shocking to me, but I also went in not knowing what they were going to be, and I everyone kept saying he, so I
yeah,
sat there a little bit like, am I just wrong right now? There's no way. But the voice and just like the facial features for me were starting to not make it seem like it was a guy at that point. But the show itself, I honestly really enjoyed it. I didn't have anything negative even to say about it. I think it's different. It's not considered an anime though, correct? It's more of a
Correct.
I believe so. Yeah, it's not. 'Cause I don't think it
yeah.
was. I don't think the studio that worked on it. Maybe I'll do some research right now, but I don't know where the studio that worked on it's from.
I was trying to look at some facts, and then I just read that it's not an anime, which I didn't think it was, but I also didn't know what it could have been. But I did find out that the two creators that created the show created it because they are a mixed couple.
Oh,
And they have a daughter, and then the character is based on their daughter who has blue eyes. So that was kind of that was super cute
That's-
to read.
that's so yeah, that is super cute. I know when this show dropped, there was actually Netflix for whatever the reason they dropped two Japanese
Similar
samurai similar
Mhm.
shows.
Yeah, I saw the other one first.
Yeah, so it was like one of those things where like you either took the red pill and watched that other show, you took the blue pill and watched Blue Eye Samurai. And
Mhm.
you know, I was glad that I didn't watch the other one. I watched Blue Eye Samurai because somebody else recommended it, Raul, and I think that maybe made that decision a lot easier for me. But yeah, like Blue Eye Samurai was the one that like the right choice to like pick from because I think the other one wasn't that good, right?
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah.
There was like some kind of magic and power system
Mhm.
associated with it, but it was fine. The story was kind of complicated, and
Because I know that
the show wasn't as easy to follow.
you and Ramon didn't really watch it right away, right? It was almost because I remember telling you guys like you guys should watch this, and I think it was after
Yeah.
that that maybe you guys got a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I think I was the last one of us three to watch it.
Yeah, because even if you go back to like our top 10 of the years, Sylvia, I think I dropped Blue Eye Samurai as like, okay, like this is just like a random, like they didn't make the top 10, but like this is just a random because it's just a
Mhm.
show and we were specifically doing movies. And I remember Ramon even being like, hey, I didn't know we were doing like dropping shows because again, to me, Blue Eye Samurai felt so like refreshing and something that I just didn't expect it to be like that quality of a like I don't know if it's the
Animation.
voice acting, the animation, the acting,
Yeah,
the
that too.
storytelling. It's just everything about it.
I
No,
will say,
it-
sorry, the only thing I
Okay.
didn't enjoy was how sometimes I think there was like a knife or a sword that went through her leg, and then she's still walking. To me, that was
Yeah.
like, okay, so
Hmm.
she's getting hit, she's getting cut up, but then she's still walking, and she's still able to face off. That was the thing that bothered me just a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I will say that with the voice acting part of it, I think it's different when like the original language is English. Like if you watch it in English,
Mhm.
just the acting level is different than somebody like dubbing over it. Just because they're like the characters are meant to sound like that, and they're cast to do the original, like voice recording of those characters. So I think that is better in many ways than most like dubbing of anime that's already like in a different, or any animation that's in a different language already.
Yeah. And,
Mhm.
and to what you're saying, Sylvia, like, when I was like a little kid and we used to watch all these movies and people were always getting shot, but they continue to keep going. Like I never understood like, like, oh, like when is it when somebody can like a bullet hits you and then you drop dead versus like you can just keep going. And like it's now that I'm an adult that I realize like a lot of times when, anything happens to you, it's like your blood pressure, man. As soon as your blood pressure drops or whatever, like you're down, you're like gonna faint or knock out.
Oh
So it's
yeah, yeah.
You stand up too fast and you're down.
Like, yeah.
That's me
Like-
every day.
Like
Stand up from my chair, and I'm like, whoa.
like for me, for somebody that like can sit on a chair and get a tattoo for 10 hours, like I cannot get my blood drawn without like immediately like starting to faint. So it's just like one of my weaknesses. Like I cannot. Like,
Really?
The idea of something coming out of me, like blood coming out of, like somebody draining me, it's just I don't know. I just can't handle it.
Oh.
You would do horribly with a succubus.
Mitchell too, he's a nurse, so he'll do IVs and stuff, and it's just like I put my arm out, and it's like it is what it is.
On your free time, like he's just drawing your blood.
Yeah, that's
Stick me.
time. Like,
Like,
hey, can you do a panel real quick?
hey, I drank too much. IV.
Can you put an IV in me, please? Put it in both hands at this point. Just
Yeah.
hydrate me.
I mean that's a thing. So yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. Like people saw the rehydration services.
Mhm.
Yeah. One of the characters that sticks around for the whole show and you meet him in the first episode and like right away is Ringo. And like, what did you guys think about Ringo?
Well, before that, like honestly, I didn't. I never really. I probably did when it came out, but I completely forgot about the whole voice cast. And then I think somebody on the Discord mentioned something about um the voice of Ringo, and like it didn't hit me until they mentioned it, and then I actually looked into the cast. But yeah, it's the guy from Heroes that played
The time
Hiro
traveler.
Nakamura.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I mean, how did you like it? Because that could have been a character that could easily have been annoying, or you meet him and you find
I
out that
liked
he's
it.
handicapped because he doesn't have two hands, and what his whole thing is like, I want to be great, and he thought he was great at making noodles, but apparently he
Hmm.
wasn't. So
What are you asking?
either
Either
one of you,
both?
yeah, either one
Oh.
of you, yeah.
Well, I liked him. I thought he was a good character because he was kind of like the angel on the shoulder of Miso. What's her name?
Hmm.
Misu.
Misu.
Um. So I think he was good, and then he had his own personality. I kind of liked how kind of goofy and weird he was. He kind of
Yeah.
reminded me of Kung Fu Panda.
Yes,
Oh.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
because the whole
Also,
noodles thing, he's kind of bigger,
Mm.
he's kind of clumsy and stuff like that. But I don't know, he was cool. I liked him. It was kind of like having Kung Fu Panda and Blaze Samurai.
and he was sneaky. You
Yeah,
needed to have bells.
yeah,
Mhm. He was like that side character that I feel like everyone needs in a movie. He almost reminded me a bit of Sam over in Lord of the Rings, I think.
Oh
And
yeah.
then
Oh,
yeah,
Samwise. Yeah.
yeah, and then also I think Game of Thrones too, John, and his name's Sam too, right? No, what is it?
Oh, it is Sam.
Yeah, he reminded me a lot of those side
Samuel Tarly.
characters. Yeah, he reminded me of those where it's just kind of like a little bit of comedy, not too much comedy from him, but
Hmm.
just enough to where it kind of lightens the mood a little bit.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I just feel like, yeah, he did save her a bunch of times, and
Hmm.
at the end, he's like proving himself, and I don't know, just and maybe because he was just like maybe really, really tall and big and strong. That's probably what also put him up above just a normal person. But yeah, I thought he was a really cool character.
How did he get her up from the water?
It was his never quit attitude.
Well,
Yeah.
well, he had just been swimming in cold water too in that one episode, right, where they went for the steak. So maybe he was just used
Oh
to like
yeah,
swimming in cold
yeah. That he
water.
Mhm.
came up with it in his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about that episode? So, because I know you mentioned that, like that one would have definitely shocked your mom or whoever was walking by.
I'm pretty sure it was the first episode though where she got him in the house and then they brought his hands there like you can do this and like this and I'm just staring at it
I'm
like, oh, what is
like
Carlos making me
like
watch?
peaches.
but
Um,
but I wasn't thinking about it. I thought it was just going to be like a normal like show and then this was happening and I'm thinking it can't get any worse than that and then it just
It does.
it
yeah.
does, yeah, it does. I mean, that's kind of
No,
like the
th-
thing that I it makes it special that they're just like, even though this is animated, they're treating it as almost if you were watching like real actors
Mhm.
live
performing.
action. Yeah.
Yeah, live action.
Dude, and honestly, Sylvia, also in our well, at least in my defense, I completely forgot that there was like any sexual anything in the
You
show.
didn't even
Me too,
recommend
I
it, so
kinda
I'm not
did.
blaming you at all.
Yeah.
This is all
But
Carlos.
Oh
no,
my
no,
god.
but I did endorse it.
Uh,
I was one of the votes that
I,
voted for it. I didn't even vote for my recommendation.
I'm glad that I wasn't the one that recommended Game of Thrones, because I remember you see a lot of Hodor in that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one is very that one is definitely in my headphones, not out loud, ever.
Fun fact: the actor that plays Hodor, he's a DJ. So yeah, just
Oh wow.
yeah. So
Like music DJ or like
yeah,
radio
like,
DJ?
no, like a music DJ. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
like EDM
Interesting.
type or
yeah,
what
like
kind?
EDM type. Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. I'll
yeah.
look him up.
You
I didn't know that.
um, but I guess the other character that you meet in the first episode, and he's also like someone that I thought was awesome. But Taigen, that's like
Mhm.
the potential love. I don't know how that works because he never really finds out that she's a girl. But definitely, I mean,
There was a connection.
there's a connection, especially when they were wrestling with each other
Yeah.
at the very end of that
Mhm.
season.
They just
mean,
kept
that-
wrestling with each other.
when he got a boner.
I'm gonna apologize.
I mean, Ro, you've never apologized, or I never have to apologize when we wrestle, and that happens, to us.
No apology needed.
No apology needed.
It's a surprise whenever it doesn't happen. I'm
I'm
kidding.
surprised I didn't realize.
I'm sorry, Sylvia. Anyway,
Anyway,
no, I did like Tengen. I thought it was. I thought it was cool the way that
Oh yeah,
it kind of shows. I like how it showed how Misu like learned how to fight and all that stuff too.
What's up, big top though? You were Carlos.
we're past that. We're past that. We're past that. But
Because it doesn't matter.
dudes will be dudes.
Does Ramon just
Boys
watch?
will be boys.
You guys ever bring Ramon in, or does he just watch?
Well, Carlos and Ramon are blood related, so
Oh my god, we're gonna have to just.
and do you know what's funny? So like I actually have rolled around with Ramon because I used to go to jiu-jitsu with him. Ramon used to wrestle in high school, and then because of the army, like I learned some like jiu-jitsu and stuff. So then Ramon and I, when we lived together, we used to go to like a jiu-jitsu.
We just wrestle up
thing.
back at home.
Right.
I never joined the army. I was never man enough to win this. So I'm always proud of you for joining. I'll be saluting you. Oh no, wait, it's Labor Day. It's not Memorial Day. This upcoming day.
We'll be saluting you every day.
On every holiday, no matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I really like Taigen. I thought he was really cool. I just thought I think even
I like
towards-
this arc.
Yeah, I think even towards the end, he realizes he's not stronger than like me, so he's just not stronger than her. But you know, he doesn't have to like have that rematch to realize it by the end of the show. And I don't know, I just thought he had some like good growth with him. You know what he wanted and where he came from, and I just thought he was always like one of those characters that was like really fun that he was added to like the cast of people that were following.
I was surprised when they took him in. He didn't say anything about Mizu. He just kind of let them beat him and do what they needed to do, and he didn't peep. He didn't say anything, and they weren't friends at that point. Mizu basically, well, she left him to die on the snow.
Oh yeah, it was kind of like her fault that he got caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it probably really wasn't to die because she didn't expect him to die, and she left the sword.
Oh
The
yeah,
broken blade.
that makes
Yeah.
it all better.
Oh, of course. No, yeah, no, but that's something that kind of shows you about his character, and the fact that he's not an arc, because like but they had already kind of started developing like some sort of relationship,
Yeah.
because they had already done the little tea party thing,
Mhm.
and then did the whole thing with the arrows, and then and all that stuff, and then she knocked him out and dipped from there. But like they had already kind of started that, and it just shows that he's actually honorable, and which is different from the beginning, because you just think that he's kind of like a Gaston type,
Yeah.
where
Mhm.
he's like chauvinistic and he kind of cheats his way through things, but he's actually like an honorable man.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I mean, they never do it again. But in the first episode, they're kind of when they're gonna fight each other, they're kind of realizing like if I make this move, he's gonna cut me.
Oh, I
and if
know, that was really
Mhm.
cool.
So that was really cool, and that kind of tells you that like you know if she wasn't giving it 100%, like he would have been somebody that could potentially get lucky and just take her down. So
Yeah.
I mean, but then she did the whole what is the guy Lee from Naruto? Like she took off the weights, and then all of a sudden she's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
she's
Super
just so
fast.
fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and those weights, man. I mean, that was really cool later on when you realize that she can connect them together and make that long sphere, like
Mhm.
whatever the weapon's called. And I'm like, that's super cool too. This idea that they're not just for like be like working her out, but she can also connect them and make a longer weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool. And then I guess throughout the show, I think that they did like a very good job doing those flashbacks to kind of show the backstory and kind of showing that the impact of those moments in her history, and how they impacted the moment that she's currently in. for example,
Mhm.
like in when she's fighting the like Thousand Claws or whatever they're called,
Yeah.
um, because when she killed that one girl, for the madam of the brothel.
Oh man, she did not have to die. I felt so bad because in the end, they all ended up attacking the guy anyways. She didn't have to kill the poor girl.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't know at that
Yeah,
point, so
Yeah.
I understand why it
And then
happened.
she ended
But
up killing that little boy either way. So, also she didn't kill him in the beginning, but then she ended up killing him at the end.
hmm
Yeah.
but yeah, it was definitely. But I don't know. I feel like everything happened the way that it kind of had to happen.
hmm
Like because and I thought it was like very impactful the way that she reacted to it too, because like how many people had she killed? She's probably killed like tons of people by
Yeah.
that point, and then she goes into like she sneaks into this place, and then she like does a sign, and then the girl's like not really doing it, and then she thinks that she's gonna help her get out, and then she like snaps her neck,
hmm
and then stages the whole thing, and then she just gets caught as she's sneaking out, and then instead of killing the little boy, she like tells him whatever. And that's kind of, but you see her reaction and like how much pain she's in that she had to do something like that,
Yeah.
where she's already killed so many people. So I don't know. I thought it was like super well done, super well acted. The animation, it was well throughout the whole anime, or the whole show. The animation was beautiful. It was
You know,
hmm
gorgeous, but
we're talking about episode 5, and I don't want to move on from it because I remember going into that episode. Or you know what? Actually, that's episode 4. The episode 5, I believe that's when, yeah, they've already like they start fighting with the thousand,
Mhm.
whatever they're called. But episode 5 was my favorite one, bro. And I mean, we can talk about that one and why later, but that's the one that left me.
Are we getting now since you already brought it up?
yeah.
Well, it's just one of those things. Like I remember going into it, like I was like, oh, episode 5, that's when she fights the thousand people, and I was kind of like thinking, oh, this is probably not gonna be like my favorite one. I don't remember liking episode 5 because those fights don't really like as much as it's cool seeing her kill a bunch of people. I don't really think like it was like that cool. The next episode when she goes to the castle, that's my favorite action episode. But episode 5, what makes it really cool is that whole backstory that they're giving about the samurai warrior that's looking for the phoenix, and they're doing the puppet show, Sylvia.
hmm
That,
Hmm.
hmm
and then
hmm
the first time that I watched that, this time knowing that the samurai that they're talking about is the husband that she marries, and it's not really her. Because I remember the first time I was watching it, I kept thinking, oh yeah, she's the samurai. So we're kind of like hearing her story through the samurai they're puppeteering, like doing the puppeteering with, but it's actually the husband. So it was really interesting for me to watch this on my second time and understanding that this whole time we're actually like listening to the husband's, like his story of why he kind of gives her up at the end, and it's just like I don't know, it was really cool. Like I really like, to me, this is the most emotional, the best episode for me of the whole 8 episodes that we get for that reason.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, kind of having that puppet show kind of like interwoven throughout that, and then kind of seeing the like with everything with backstory, because like throughout the whole show, like nothing really shows you that there was a point in her life where she was happy, where she was like comfortable,
Yeah.
where she was kind of like in a situation where she had hope, and stuff like that. Besides that one like moment in her life when she got married, and then he would turn out to be like a kind man that treated her well, and that she actually like was falling in love with this dude, and all of it to kind of turn around and just get her betrayed,
Yeah.
and kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing, where she ends up killing her mom and her husband.
Well, like they
Well,
kill each
the
other. The
husband
husband
killed
kills
or,
the
the
or, or
mom.
mom.
yeah, the
Yeah.
husband killed the mom, but
Yeah.
And he still had the audacity to come towards her and say, "Hold on, like, listen."
Mhm.
After he just killed her mom.
Yeah. And like I knew the moment she beat him, like I'm like, oh, like I've seen too many, like I just saw Shogun this year, and I've seen other stuff where I'm like, I knew he wasn't gonna take it well. This
hmm
idea of like I'm a disgraced samurai, and my whole thing is like I'm trying to like get back on my lord's like good side, and I was just defeated by like my wife. Like it's just like I'm like I knew right away that was not gonna be like
hmm
that. Like he was gonna be down for that.
yeah, and also the way that it happened, because like they were like goofing around, and
hmm
then she was taking it a little bit more seriously than he was, and then
Yeah.
he kind of wanted it to stop, but then she kept pushing for it, and that was kind of the thing that did it, because like you could see that the hints of like, oh, his pride is starting to kind of get hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to give her an out, but she's not catching on to it because she's being playful, and she's kind of like this overachiever that like really likes to fight, and it was really good at it. So then she kind of kept pushing, probably past the limit because she wasn't really paying attention because she was so comfortable with him,
Mm-hmm.
that she didn't realize that he wouldn't be comfortable with it, and then he was, and bam.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I saw it, I kept thinking like, oh, this is the moment where we're gonna learn where she really learned how to like fight, like because we just found out
Oh yeah.
in that
Mm-hmm.
beginning of that flashback, she gets stabbed, and then she
Yeah.
finds her mom, and then I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be the old samurai that's been disgraced that teaches her how to like really fight, but like
Hmm.
no, I guess she
The
really
white
just
sensei.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I guess it was just really her in the beginning, learning from all these different masters that would come for that 1 2 days, wait for the swords to be done, and then she would just train based on their movement. So in a way, she sort of was like Kakashi, the copycat ninja. Like she would just memorize their moves and then practice them. Yeah. Oh, Naruto, nice.
Yeah, I didn't really have anything Japanesey, so I wore
Grab Naruto.
yeah. And he's eating noodles, and that's what what's the name cooked
Yeah,
Ringo.
no, but
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add about it. Like, do you know who do you think the mom at all betrayed her? I don't think the mom betrayed her. I think it was
is that actually her mom?
Oh no, it's not her mom. But like
Yeah.
her, the person that raised her. But I don't think
Yeah.
she did it. I don't think it
I
was. I think it was a husband for sure.
see. Her mom already left her though, basically, right?
Yeah.
So she left
And
her
was
when
using her
a kid.
too.
She was using her, and then she used her to get her married, so she could still have more money, so she could have a smoke or
Buy her
whatever it
opium.
was that
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever it was that she was doing. So I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. The mom could have said something to get money for her to be able to buy what she needed to buy, which is what the husband kind of immediately said. But then
Yeah.
again, he immediately went to that excuse of, no, it was your mom because this is what she needed. So it did kind of hint a little bit more that maybe he was the one that said it.
No, you're right. It could have been where the mom snitched. They found her, and he just didn't want to do anything with it, so he kind of like ran back,
Mm.
and then maybe he did come back finally. But we'll never
'Cause
know. Either way,
it
it
seems
was fucked
the
up.
only reason the mom took her back though is because she thought that she could make money based off of her versus her actually wanting her to be back.
Yeah, she was probably addicted to opium. I mean, she sounded like she's always been addicted to like opium, even when she.
Yeah, and it was crazy too because like dude, that whole thing kind of hurt because seeing how her mom was to her,
Mm-hmm.
um because when she woke up after being stabbed, she like the mom was like, oh, I'm so glad that you're okay, like I kind of felt bad like abandoning you, but it turned out that it was the best choice because you
Mm-hmm.
grew up so strong or whatever. But like just the way that she said everything, it just wanted like made me want to punch her in the
Mm-hmm.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she like she didn't do it for her. There's no fucking way she did it for her. But she's saying like, oh, good thing I did this horrible thing to you because now like it's kind of like the Johnny Cash song, the the dude that named his son Sue.
What?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Johnny Cash.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, it's one of the few things that I know. There's a song where this dude is gonna leave like the son, like or I guess the woman and the son. So then he names him like Susie or Sue. So then he kind of gets made fun of his whole life. So then he like ends up fighting and becomes strong. And then at some point when he's an adult, he meets up with the dad again. And then like that's the whole point of the song that he said like I named you this so that you could grow up strong because I wasn't gonna be there, kind of thing.
oh, that's kind of
Wow.
cool. Damn, yeah, that's a. I need to. I probably have heard the song. I just can't think of it. But
Yeah. I think it's called like a boy named Sue or something like that.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't remember.
I mean,
I'm
going.
sorry, any actual country fans.
No, no. I mean, going back to the second episode, that's kind of also when you learn a little bit of like her backstory, where she trained with her master. Like she was getting chased. This rock from the sky falls, and that's kind of how her journey into this revenge kind of
Begins,
gets
yeah.
started. Yeah,
Yeah,
begins.
the Sword Father.
the sword
Mhm.
father. Yeah.
I will say though, even when the mom was with her, she kept shaving her head, and as a girl, that's a big thing. When they just keep shaving your head and keep telling you to act like a boy, or they're telling you that you can't have your hair, and then she leaves her. So even when mom was with her from the start, she was already kind of horrible, and then she had her homeless basically, and then she took her back at that. I didn't like the mom at all. She deserved to die, but
Yeah,
at the same time, not like that.
I wonder who
yeah.
will meet her real mom if she's still possibly alive. Because I
Mm.
just in case you weren't aware, I think they're doing 2 seasons to like tie the whole story. So we'll get one more, and then third one will be the final.
I wonder if this are the second 3 seasons or two.
What is it?
Is it 3 seasons or two that they'll have?
Three. So it should be three
Three.
total.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I wonder if once they go to London, they come back to Japan afterwards.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting because
Mm.
that's where the show ends with them going to London, and I don't know. I mean, I feel
I'd have
like
killed him.
yeah. I mean, if it, I mean, think about how now when you go to some countries, like people stare at you because you look different. I can only imagine like back in the day where it was like so
Mhm.
rare to see somebody that just didn't look like.
Especially in Japan, isolated Japan.
Well,
Mhm.
now that she's going to London, it's like yeah, she's
Yeah.
definitely gonna
Oh
catch
yeah.
some eyes. Yeah,
Well, yeah, because I'm sure that there's not a lot of Asians in London.
At that time,
at
yeah.
that time.
Yeah, especially because so much of Asia was isolated.
Mhm.
But do you know what's cool
Mhm.
about the Sword Father? Um, uh,
Tell me.
what's his name? Shao Kahn or Shun Tzu from Mortal Kombat was the voice.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
wow.
it's crazy that again me.
Oh,
Yeah, now you're seeing it. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
it is crazy that you can be like again be blind. I think that's kind of like the whole point of this whole show too. It's like you can have some form of handicap or something that people think like
Or
makes you
disability, or yeah.
disability makes you weak, and you can prove the whole world wrong. And it's like here we have this blind guy that's the greatest swordsman. We have the guy that's missing Ringo that's missing two hands. We have Misu, which everybody tells her like, hey, you're a demon and like a half breed.
Yeah, you have colored eyes and your eyes are kind of round.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then you have this princess that
Dude, I
just
love the
wants,
princess. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, who just wants to like marry whoever she chooses. And then even Seki, like the pretty much the dude that raised the
Mhm.
princess,
Yeah.
like he kind of has his
Oh
duty
yeah.
to her dad, uh, to the Lord, but then he like cares about
That
her.
that
So
was sad when he didn't make it at the end and
I
Mhm.
shot.
know.
But I did
You
like
heard
how
this. It was one of those moments where like you hear the shot and you're not sure who got shot, if it was her or
Mhm.
him, but you know somebody got shot.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
And then she still didn't go with Tegan afterwards when he
I
came to her.
know.
no, because she said she wants to be great. He's like, because Tengen was like, I don't care about being great, and she's like, I want to be great. So I'm like, dude, hell yeah! Like I like her whole story plot, how she was just so smart. She was like the smart. I think she maybe not maybe second smartest part like person in the whole show, but she was really smart. Like how she would get out of these situations, like when they told her like, hey, you got to go please this man, and
Mhm.
obviously you're coping, and it's not gonna happen, and then you figure out how like she was able
Mhm.
to like do that. That was
Mhm.
awesome. Yeah. Especially later when he like sees her and he's like, wait a minute, is that the girl that read me poetry?
Mhm.
Dude, it was really cool. So like her trajectory was interesting because she kind of reminded me of Sansa Stark, from Game of Thrones, because she in the beginning she was kind of like spoiled because she had this attitude with her, and then she like was trying to manipulate her dad to like allow her to marry, like Tengen, no, not Tengen, um,
No,
whatever
I
his
almost
name
said
is,
Yeah.
Tigen, yeah.
Yeah.
Tigan. Yeah.
But yeah, like trying to manipulate him to allow her to marry Tigan. And then she was like so stubborn. Like she went on this quest to find him. Like after he ran off and all this stuff, and she was super spoiled about everything. But she was super determined, and then and then it was cool to also see her trajectory and her arc, because she kind of like learned that like life isn't just like all rainbows and sunshine,
Mhm.
and and it was kind of cool to see her kind of appreciate like the small folk and her role and everything.
Yeah. No,
I
yeah.
like how she ended up giving a chance to her
Mhm.
husband because he seemed like he was
Mm.
a good person. I know we kind
Yeah.
of meet him and he kills her bird right away, and that's kind of makes you think lowly of him. But he seemed like he
Hmm.
was a good guy. He has the stutter, so he tries not to speak, which is why he was quieter. And I like how in the end it kind of shows how she's starting to trust him a little bit more. And I think she's also realizing she's going to have a lot more power with him than with anybody else.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was his mom, so the mother-in-law, that was
Hmm.
making it seem like he was scary, and there's a reason why he doesn't talk, and he had those two girls that like they just were bringing the wrong vibes. But yeah, like yeah, he ended up
Hmm.
being like a really nice, sweet guy. Like yeah, like and it's funny because that guy that did raise her, it's like, oh, I made the best possible choice for you, and like he did even that
Hmm.
was a great decision that he made for her, but she didn't realize it.
Hmm. And by the way, that was voiced by George Sakai.
From Star Trek.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh, nice,
mm,
nice.
dude, this voice cast was stacked.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crazy
Randall Park, Maya,
because sometimes you want to
King.
believe that they were just handed a paycheck to do these roles, but part of me also says maybe they read the material and it's like, damn, this is like deep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they probably cared. Well, especially like the main characters, because it's like there's not a lot of shows, especially like this, that like have so much like representation and are done well. Like it's happening a lot more now
Hmm.
because you have like like Shogun or like Crazy Rich Asians or like Shang-Chi. Finally, that you have like casts that are like being represented, or even like One Piece that you have like a Latino as Luffy, and then you actually have like a black person as Usopp and all these other like characters kind of being a little bit more representative, and
Hmm.
it's cool that to have a show like this that's actually voiced by characters that can kind of
Makes
relate
sense.
to it.
Yeah.
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 Well, Subi, let's talk about the coolest episode, and I want to get your take on how you felt because I had forgotten about this, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh my god, like why didn't give this poor girl any warning or anything? But did you have any problems with those monkeys giving flowers to Misu, and
Oh,
then her
oh,
getting
I forgot about the
Yeah,
monkeys.
yeah,
honestly, yeah, no, for me, I thought all of that was like a trip, which obviously
yeah,
it kind of
it
was.
kind
So
of was, yeah,
it didn't affect me because I was also wondering, are there really monkeys right now, or is she just seeing things? Which there were when he
there
gave her
were,
the flower first.
yeah.
But that was it was very well done too, because you could see how things were starting to get hazier and
Dude, no, yeah, like I think I waited till night because like I was watching this in the morning, and I'm like, no, this episode, like I'm waiting till like
mm,
nighttime to watch it because I knew at that point once she takes those drugs, it just gets so colorful.
those, yeah, but
Yeah,
those creepy people then that she after the monkeys. Oh, it reminds me of like some game. Oh my god, I'm forgetting the game, but you have like those creepy humanoid things that are following you.
yeah. I mean, this whole show seems like it could be a great game. Honestly, that's also something that
Hmm.
I kept thinking. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it just feels like it would be an
Honestly, yeah.
amazing game, and she
They should
fights.
make it a game.
Yeah, she
Hmm.
fights the guy with the giant stick, and even that felt like a boss fight. Cause I'm like, dude, she like
Hmm.
stuck a sword right through his neck. He's still going. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. That was awesome too.
Up until she sets him on fire and sticks a grenade in his neck,
Yeah,
in his neck sword hole.
those grenades definitely came in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
then
just
again, it gets to the point where she sees Tegan now, and now she has him on her back, and she's climbing up. There's no way that someone can do that. That's injured and just that.
Do you know what you need to watch? That I want to see how you feel about it. Like one of those like martial arts movies, either like The Raid or like The Protector, that have those
Mm,
like really long scenes of like just so much, or even like John Wick, because he
mm.
has like a bunch of those scenes where it just like a long period of just continuous fighting, and where they like keep getting hurt and stuff like that, and then they just keep going and fighting, and I don't know. I want to see how you
See,
think about it.
those do kind of get to me because then I think you can't tell me that there's 100 people shooting at you. There's no way that you don't get hit once. There's no way.
yeah. No, I talked about like in John Wick. I'm like, there's no way somebody just gets lucky and shoots him in the head by accident, not even like
Hmm.
on purpose. you know?
Well, that's part of being a great assassin.
Yeah.
That you also have luck. I don't
But
know.
but I mean I mean just the fact of how beat up she was climbing with him. I mean, it kind
Mhm.
of makes sense
Uh-huh.
why she would reach the top and she wouldn't be able to do her mission because at that point, like, she was just exhausted. And then
She gets shot.
yeah, and Fowler, I mean, he fought, he mainly used guns, but he was also like a great swordsman because she even
Mhm.
compliments the way he cut that one flower, because he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's like, oh man, whoever cut that flower did it so smooth. So even he, throughout his 10 years of being captive, he must have learned how to like sword fight, and he probably was like just a great fighter in general.
Well, yeah, because when he was there, he was like bored out of his mind, and he kept saying how he like mastered so many things,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
just out of boredom, which is why he like mastered like painting and a bunch of other things.
No, yeah, like I don't know, like if you were in a castle for 10 years, what's the first thing you would want to master?
Master? Jeez.
Yeah.
That's a
Cooking.
great question, actually. No,
Oh my
cooking,
god.
I got down. Cooking, I got down.
uh,
Maybe baking, honestly, because baking is where I kind of lack.
but are we talking about like back then or like today with like,
Oh,
because if
I
it's
don't know.
back
You asked
then,
the
Oh,
question.
yeah, because I'm like, if it's back then and you don't have YouTubers to like teach you, like, yeah, it's I don't know about.
I think I would learn archery first, then back then.
Dude, I want to learn archery like today. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
in case of a zombie apocalypse
I don't
or
know.
a monkey apocalypse,
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely that one. Like as
Planet
in
of the Apes
aliens,
style.
I'm gonna be holding out my bow and arrow.
Yeah, archery just seems like a really cool one to
Yeah, you can be Katniss Everdeen
learn.
Mm-hmm.
or
Do our own
Legolas.
Hunger
Yeah.
Games. Yeah, I feel like that or see painting. I feel like everyone says painting, and it really wouldn't. It gets kind of boring. I feel like.
Like I don't know, just towards the end, like I mean, everything that had been going up to like the sixth episode, I think by the seven and eight, like I'm a little burnt out. I don't know if it's just like doesn't have the same like impact of some of the first episodes, but I remember just on my rewatch and on my first watch, the seven episode and the eight episode just were not like my favorites.
Mm,
I will say I did like like her whole search to like fixing the sword.
mm-hmm,
That
I
was
thought that was really
cool,
cool.
especially when
Yeah, yeah, because
she wrote on herself and stuff. That was really cool.
mm-hmm.
yeah, and then she had what's his name? Do her
Fuego.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and then the whole time, like the Stormmaster had no idea that she was a she.
no,
I think he has an inkling though. He just basically said, "You
No.
already lied to me. I don't want to know anything else."
yeah, I think he probably already knew just from like having all these great senses and stuff.
Same with, I would argue, I feel like Tegan kind of knows because there was that one scene when they were right before the tea party. He said something of like, "And you use two hands to pee," didn't he? Because to me, when the moment he said that, I was like, "Okay, hold on. Does he know?"
I feel like he's a little too slow. That if he did, I would be surprised. But I also don't. I
Yeah.
don't doubt it that maybe he did.
I don't know. That comment
No.
was just very like, "Yeah, that guy's gonna go pee." Unlike you, who uses two hands to pee, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he's definitely calling her. I don't know. I just felt like, and I mean, maybe we'll find that out in the second season that he did know or didn't know. But
mhm.
I mean,
I
either
don't
way,
think so. I,
he has feelings for Misu, and he just doesn't can really comprehend what kind of feelings they are.
maybe just because Misu's just a very pretty dude.
I mean, we saw in the when they go
True."
to the samurai, kills that other samurai, and then he goes to I
The
forget.
brothel,
Yeah, and it's just like you
the
see
tea house.
how he's having relationships with not only a woman but also a man, and it's just like, yeah, like that was something that I think common back then for samurai.
Yeah.
That whole explanation was pretty cool with Madam Kaji or whatever her name was. Um, because like the way that she was explaining that like a true warrior like knows this and that or whatever, but also knows like his desires or whatever.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I think
Mhm.
that's what she was talking about, like in that part, because he had just won the duel, um, and then he was like in the tea house, uh, I guess indulging in his desires. And by the way, Madame Kaji was voiced by Ming Na Wen from
Mhm. One of my
Agent of
faves.
Shield, Mulan,
yeah.
and Mandalorian / Boba Fett.
But I mean, anything on the last episode that you guys want to, or the, again, we talked about the one where she's remaking Fortune her sword again. That one's really cool. But the last episode again, it's just even the when she finally catches up to like Fowler, like I didn't think much of that fight. Uh, I
yeah, like, and I don't know, I feel like he was running a lot, surprisingly.
Yeah, and,
Mm.
and if you want another like backup to believe when that puppet story, they were telling the puppet story that Misu was supposed to be like the woman. When he throws fire at her and like the room starts burning up, there's like a phoenix right behind her. So that's like another like throwing
Yeah,
it in your face that she was like she's this
she's a
woman.
demon.
She's a demon. So
Mhm.
that was really cool too. 'Cause I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
there you go. Like that's another like perfect imagery of like fire and then the phoenix just rising from the
Mhm.
ashes. So I
And
thought
the
that was
last
cool.
episode, I mean, there was fire everywhere, which I guess to a sense, it wasn't her fault, but the way that everything happened, I feel like maybe Misu kind of made the town get. In a sense, it was her though, because the way she came in to save them, it could have been quicker if they just came in and killed everybody and then that was that. But instead, she came in, their whole fight escalated, and then the whole
Hmm.
village kind of burned down. They closed them in the village, so everyone basically passed away.
Well, something that I've learned recently is that because Japan gets so many earthquakes and it's like in the Ring of Fire, is that back then they made the homes like in a way where if it fell down or it got destroyed, they could just like pick it back up again by because it was required like very like little materials, whatever.
Mm.
So that was something
That
of
was
like,
something that, yeah, that was something that they said in Shogun, the show.
yeah, in Shogun, exactly. So it's like one of those things that, like, I think even though their homes like probably burnt up, and yes, a big disaster. Like, honest to God, give them like a few weeks, months, and they'll probably have the houses like all backed up again because they're just so used to like natural disasters happening in
Mm.
Japan. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
But you can't build them if everyone's dead.
Yeah.
but if you build it, they will come.
True. But who's building it?
they, they, they build it. Yeah.
No, but the other thing too that kind of I found weird is like how like nobody interfered when they killed the Shogun. Like,
No,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, like even like Tegan or Tigan,
Tigan was
um,
right there. Yeah, he could have taken
yeah,
a
yeah,
quick.
because he was there like to protect the Shogun, and then like
Mhm.
they nobody did anything when they killed the Shogun.
I'm like, you're fast enough where you could have taken like a quick swing at the weapon, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's something, and then it wasn't until Misu showed up that anybody did anything
If anything,
against
yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting because I mentioned how it's been Emmy nominated. It's been interesting if it like does win any awards for whatever the nominations are. But I really think this is a great show. I remember again, this came to my attention because people that normally wouldn't watch like cartoons or anime were talking about it. I'm like, okay, if this person that really I never hear him talk about anything animated related. It's like talking about how the greatness of it. It's like, yeah, and I really enjoyed this my second rewatch, and I'm like now I feel like I'm super ready for like the next season, which I don't know when
Mm.
it's coming, but I'm super excited for it. And I've seen like Misu cosplayers, and they're awesome, man. So like, if you ever see one, like you really like be
I
like, oh my
haven't.
god, it's a real life Misu.
Raul, to jump off of your point though, I think they may have not done anything even when he killed the Shogun because they didn't know what guns were. And they didn't know how to interact until Misu came in. And the moment she basically attacked, they were like, okay, well, if it's a free for all, let's go. But I think it was them, they're not knowing what was going on or what could happen and then seeing what happened. They were all kind of just frozen in place.
Yeah, it might have been like guns. Like they knew guns, but they probably like because again, I think it's a period where my
They
understanding
don't
is
really
like
have those.
like well Japan like eventually like they'd cut off. It's like, hey, we're not letting any
Mm-hmm.
foreigners come in. So it could have been one of those things. Like, yeah, to your point, like maybe the last person that saw a gun was 10 years ago, so they don't even really have the knowledge behind
Mm-hmm.
it. But no,
Sorcery. I don't know.
no, it's awesome. Like Sylvia, if you really enjoy the show, like I would recommend Shogun, but that's a little bit more like what slower, like just talking, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like
Yeah,
internal like
a lot more subtitles.
yeah, definitely a lot more subtitles.
You're gonna watch on 2 times speed.
It's
How
subtitles.
can you read that fast? I can barely read it as it is.
You gotta get good.
It's probably not my favorite samurai show of all time 'cause I think that would go to Samurai Champloo, but it's definitely
Not
top
Samurai
two.
Jack.
Oh my god! Or yeah, maybe it's like Samurai Champloo, Samurai Jack, and maybe this one, third one.
Afro Samurai.
Stop it. Because that's also another. That's a movie though. That's more of a movies.
No,
Well,
there was a show, wasn't there?
I don't think so. I think they're
Yeah, I
all.
think there was like a one season show.
I think they've been movies.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, I think there was a show.
We'll talk
It was a
about
series. I don't know how
We'll
many
figure it out.
episodes. But Samuel Jackson voiced that one.
Mm.
So it was like Samuel who?
Who's Samuel Jackson? Who's Morgan Freeman too? While we're at it, we just put a list down.
He's God.
Funny enough, I don't know if you ever caught our chat, but you've been blurry to me from the moment we started. So
Yeah,
like,
I asked you guys if I'm
Oh.
still blurry.
yeah, so the whole time. So I feel like I've been doing one of those like interviews where the person's like speaking about something horrific that happened to them, but you can't see them.
Or like
You're
in
like,
Death
"Guys,
Note
that's horrible."
when he's doing the interview.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, good thing it records locally,
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
so you'll be fine.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys soon. For you guys will be doing your secret recording next week that I cannot wait.
Dun
to
dun
hear.
dun.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna
Expect
be
the
on
unexpected
My
here.
Little Pony.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of My Little Pony people out there. So
I'm kidding. I've never seen anything.
For the bromies.
for bromies, exactly. All right, and we'll be on the
It's
lookout
actually
for
going to be Game of Thrones. I'm going to surprise you. I watched all of them, and we're going to be talking about that
Damn.
Yes.
that
I'm gonna
one-
read all of the books,
on camera, on screen.
including the unfinished one by George R. R. Martin.
Nice.
I'm gonna finish it for him.
We're
Alright.
worrying him now.
No, yeah, because I'm like, I didn't give you guys a limit of how much time, but if it's gonna be Ro reading a book, it's gonna definitely
Oh my god!
consume
It's gonna be
a
an
lot of-
audio. It's
I'll
gonna
read
be an
faster.
audiobook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll read faster. Don't worry about it. I'm a fast reader. 2
Yeah,
times
there
speed.
you go. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm excited for that. So, be on the lookout for that one. All right, talk to you guys. Adios.
Word.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.